Okay, YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So, what I'm looking at today is kind of trying to figure out why my radiator isn't sitting in the car properly. Looked like it was about, from what I could tell, about a quarter of an inch higher on this side than it was on this side. So, I pulled the radiator out, and I think I know what the problem is. And it's an unfortunate one, but I'm going to take some measurements just to make sure. So what had happened, mentioned in a previous video, is the guy who had the car before me, basically the bottom portion of that bumper had been ripped off down here. And he took the fog light bracket out with it. The problem being there is there's really nothing to protect this whole front area of the car. And so it looks like he curbed the bottom of the radiator support on, I don't know, like a like a parking curb or whatever. But either way, it's dented up on the bottom. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't have affected the top, but it looks like it kind of did. So I'm gonna take some measurements and see just how far out this thing looks like it is. These probably aren't going to be exact measurements because I'm going to be measuring to the top of the radiator support. So, from side to side, hopefully that isn't damaged too. But it'll at least give me a general idea of, what's going on, what may need to be fixed, anything like that. So let's get this down here so you can kind of see what we're doing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm sorry about that light on the side there, but not much I can do about it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna run the tape measure down to where the radiator bracket holds on, and I'll actually angle that up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Okay, so on this side right down in there, we are at just above 18 and a half, just above 18 and a half. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so just above 18 and a half. On this side, over here, I'm at just over 19, like 19 and a quarter. So, shit, that's a good, that's pretty substantial, guys. That's a bummer. And it actually looks like it might be angled down a little bit compared to that. So let's measure the fronts. Okay, so the front is at 19 right on this side. And on this side, it's at 18 and 3/4. So that's the quarter of an inch that I was seeing right there. So that's disappointing. Because I don't really know what I'm going to be able to do about that. Let's see here. Let's get this camera back up. I know one of my options is to replace the whole core support. I don't have the resources to do that. I don't know how to weld. I've been wanting to learn, I just haven't. And I'm not a body man, so I don't want to get myself into cutting this whole thing out and then not being able to put it back in. So this is a little deflating, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have the funds right now to take it to a shop and have them do it. And I don't know when I will. I'm sure sometime in the future that may need to happen. don't know anybody who welds, who does this kind of work. I don't want to just trust somebody that's like, hey, I've got a welder. Let me, cut that bitch out and put it back in. No, it needs to be, it's a pretty substantial portion of the car. And it needs to be done right. If it's not done right, I don't, feel comfortable doing it at all. So what I think I might try and do, just to get the radiator to sit in there a little better, I might try and bend that piece back into place. Might try and hammer it back in and just be real careful. Make sure I'm not cracking anything, breaking anything. I might try and get that to sit down that 1/4 of an inch that we need. We'll have to see. I got some thinking to do on this, guys. It sucks. It's not going to stop me. Let me put it that way. It's not going to stop me from getting this car done. One way or another, it's getting done. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to get done. And the car's going to be in good shape. So that's kind of what it is here. Let me show you just what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is the radiator support. That's my bucket of coolant. Like I said, that coolant had been sitting in there in that radiator for a long time, and as you can tell, it's not in good shape, and that radiator will need to be replaced. So this is basically the side that looks like it's the worst. That one looks pretty straight. It may be sunk down a little bit in the back, but the front of it's okay. But this side, it's bulged up. I don't know how easy that is to see there, but it's definitely bulged up. If we go to the bottom, let's see. Let's get a better angle on this. Yeah. Well, too far forward. Duh. Yeah, you can see right there. That thing got crushed on something. And I mean, the whole thing, pretty much from here back, is pretty rough. It's pretty rough, and that's very unfortunate. But hey, I might get lucky and be able to bang some of that back into place, at least to make it work for now. I can get the radiator in, I can get everything going. It just doesn't fit right. I don't know how much of a safety concern that can be right there, but it is what it is. I can get, it's not a deal breaker. It's a bummer, not a deal breaker. Like I said, I can get everything put back together. The radiator just doesn't quite sit in there right, and that's why the brackets didn't fit right. So good news being, there's so much other work to do on this car that I don't have to let this stop me. It's just a little bit of a setback that I've got to figure out what to do with. Not gonna lie, it's a little demotivating, but like I said, there's so much more stuff to do that it doesn't have to ruin the good time, and it doesn't have to ruin the rest of the car. It's just a little thing that's gonna need to be figured out, fixed, and then we can move on. I know that I've seen those tubular support brackets. That might be an option too. We'll time will tell on that one, and we'll get it sorted out. I've got to talk to some people. I do some work at one of the more premier body shops in the Sacramento area. Maybe I'll go in there and talk to one of those body guys, and just see if it's something that is critical enough. I mean, hell, I'll pick up a welder and learn how to weld. And if I can find a good used radiator support on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or one of those outlets, then maybe I can just hack off the bottom of that thing, and as long as I measure everything correctly on both of them that I cut, you just weld that thing back into place. I mean, I'm pretty handy. I'd want to give myself plenty of practice and make sure it gets done right, but it's something I've wanted to learn how to do, and maybe this is just the kick in the pants to learn how to do it. But we'll see. Again, I don't know. It's just going to take some time to figure out. So that's that. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on where we were at as far as why the radiator wasn't fitting like I was talking about when I painted those brackets. So anyway, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll keep you updated on everything that's going on.